Welcome to Factly, the place of interesting and unusual facts. Welcome to our top 10 facts about alpacas. The domesticated species of the South African camelid, known as the alpaca, belongs to the family of the same name. Over 40 million years ago, the first camelids appeared in North America. Llamas traveled to South America, whereas camels traveled east over the Bering Strait. There are only two breeds of alpaca, the wakaya and the shuri. About 85 to 90% of all alpacas are wakayas, the more prevalent variety. Alpacas typically have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years, and they have been known to live up to 28 years. Now let's jump right into the video with number 1. Alpacas are quiet animals. Alpacas are gentle creatures that produce very little noise and are known for their extreme docility. They do generate a sound similar to humming in order to communicate with one another or to show anxiety or tension. The majority of all communication that takes place between alpacas is nonverbal. When you hear a high-pitched alarm call, it almost always indicates that the animals have detected something potentially dangerous in the area, and they are trying to warn the other members of the herd. It's possible that they are worried about a dangerous animal, but it also could mean something strange to them, such as a cow or a horse grazing in the field next door. During the breeding process, male alpacas will also make a guttural, throaty sound known as orgling to serenade the females. Number 2. If you own one alpaca, you'll need to own more. Alpacas have very powerful herd instincts, and in order for them to survive, they require the companionship of other alpacas, preferably at least 3 of them. It isn't appropriate to keep alpacas as pets in the house because they are livestock. With a few notable exceptions, male and female alpacas should never be housed together. There is one notable exception, and that is the requirement that the male crias remain with their mother until they are weaned. Males who have had their testicles removed should never be housed with females, as they will make repeated attempts to have sexual relations with the females. The females are at risk for experiencing severe negative effects on their health as a result of this. Number 3. Alpacas mostly eat grass or hay. They consume roughly 1.5% of the animal's body weight in hay or new pasture grass each day. Another way to say this is they will need to eat 2 pounds of hay for every 125 pounds of their body weight. Alfalfa can be fed sparingly, and grass hay is advised. Many owners give their thin or cold weather adapted alpacas increased amounts of hay to eat in the winter. Alpacas are pseudo-ruminants, which means they have a single stomach that is separated into 3 sections. They are able to process this meager amount of food very well because they create rumen and chew cud. Depending on the environment, many alpacas, particularly pregnant or lactating females, will profit from nutritional and mineral supplements. Mineral blends and commercial feeds for alpacas and llamas are readily accessible at all feed stores. To be sure you are offering a diet that is suitable for your region, speak with your neighborhood veterinarian. Ample fresh water is also necessary for your alpacas to drink. Number 4. Alpacas have 2 sets of teeth for processing food. For chewing cud, they have molars in the back of their jaw. And alpacas only have teeth on the bottom of their faces. Their top teeth, or dental pad, are used to smash grain, grass, or hay. Alpacas have short tongues and only graze on the tops of grasses or other plants, in contrast to goats and sheep that have big tongues that may tear plants out of the ground. Less vegetation disturbances arise from this technique. If given the chance, alpacas frequently consume shrubs or tree leaves. Monitoring this is necessary to make sure they don't ingest dangerous goods. Number 5. Alpacas are easy to train. Alpacas are intelligent creatures that are not too difficult to train. To ensure that they will accept a halter and learn to follow a lead, it is ideal to start training them when they are young. Many owners take pleasure in teaching their pets to navigate obstacles. Some owners even enter the alpacas into competitions at shows where they must walk around, through, or around obstacles as well as jump over small hurdles. Alpacas should be trained to travel in a van or trailer in case they need to be taken to a show or another farm. Alpacas are simple to move since they typically cush, which means to lie down while moving with their legs folded under them. Be mindful that alpacas shouldn't be restrained when moving about. Number 6. Alpacas are very safe animals to own. Alpacas are generally friendly and simple to handle. Alpacas never headbutt. They lack the horns and hooves that other cattle have, so they maneuver the field with grace and skill, making it unlikely that they would purposely run someone over or run into them. At around 3 years old, male alpacas get their first set of fighting teeth, which can hurt people or other alpacas. Alpacas will instinctively kick with their hind legs, especially if they are startled from behind. Although an alpaca's kick doesn't have the same force as a horse's, it can nonetheless break a bone or leave a bruise. Additionally, toenails have the potential to nick skin. Owners and guests should exercise common sense and a degree of caution with working with alpacas, same as they do with other animals. Long pants and traction-equipped footwear are required for anyone handling alpacas, and boots should cover the entire foot. All camelids must be handled properly, and alpacas, as calm as they are no exception. Humans must acquire their trust by speaking calmly and applying minimal restriction. It is best for new alpaca owners to learn how to handle alpacas from more seasoned owners or specialists. Because that brings me to number 7. Alpacas will spit on occasion. Spitting is a common form of negative communication among members of the camelid family. They do become possessive when it comes to food, and they may spit to show their irritation at other alpacas who believe they are infringing on their food. We mentioned this before, but additionally, they frequently spit on one another while the herd is fighting, usually involving 2 or more males. Now, your alpaca pet may occasionally spit on people on purpose, but it happens more frequently when they get trampled by other alpacas, so it's essential to observe their behavior and figure out how to stay out of those danger zones. And just because your alpaca has spit on you once doesn't mean it's going to do so again. Number 8. Alpacas are different from llamas. We touched on this a bit earlier, but people often confuse alpacas with llamas. While closely related, llamas and alpacas are very different animals. Llamas are much larger, about twice the size of an alpaca, with a weight range of 250 to 350 pounds. Alpacas typically weigh between 120 to 200 pounds. Llamas are primarily used for packing or for guarding herds of sheep or even alpacas, whereas the alpaca itself is primarily raised for their soft and luxurious fleece. Alpacas have been raised as the domestic livestock for thousands of years. Since the end product of alpacas is their fleece, like sheep, they are classified as livestock by both the United States and the Canadian federal government. Number 9. They require less pasture space than traditional livestock. In comparison to other livestock, alpacas are more environmentally friendly and require less pasture and food. Animal health is impacted by stocking density. Thus, owners are urged carefully to evaluate their space. The quantity of space required might vary according on the vegetation, the ability of food, the water, and the shelter. Compared to most livestock, they are also much cleaner. Alpacas have a mild smell, and they tend to draw less flies during the summer. Alpacas frequently urinate in large mounds of shared manure. In a pasture, there could be 3 or 4 of these regions. This facilitates simple cleanup, limits opportunity for parasites, and improves the herd's general hygiene. Number 10. Don't forget they need basic shelter. Depending on the weather and local predators, several types of shelter are needed. Alpacas typically require at least a 3-sided open shelter where they can hide from the summer's heat and the winter's harsh wind and snow. Alpaca owners have discovered that big overhangs outside the shelter are used more frequently than those enclosed barn ones because alpacas love good ventilation. The threat posed by neighborhood predators generally dictates the type and the layout of your fencing. Additionally, alpacas require the proper sized fence gaps to avoid strangling injuries to their necks and their limbs. I hope you enjoyed these awesome facts about the super cool alpaca. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you the next time you hit play.